Are you winning? Do you need help in your life or business? Could you use some inspiration, business strategies, and success principles? I'm Daniel Gomez, award-winning business coach, keynote speaker, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you create a successful life and elevate your business. Together, we will discover the keys that unlock your success and dreams. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you, and we educate you. And today, we're going to inspire you today. I'll tell you what, our guest today is on fire. I had the pleasure of just having her here at our event at our Sticker Shock Academy, and she was just, when she spoke, you could feel her words into your soul. And I'm not even exaggerating that. And I said, I need to have you on my show because what you just did, not too many people can touch the heart of somebody that quick. And I'm honored to have her here with us today. So get out your pens, get out your papers, because what Alka's going to say, you definitely want to write it down. And you know what we always say, what you write down with your pen on paper, you retain over 50% of it. So I don't want you to miss it. That way you can come back and study your notes from the next time you watch the episode or listen to it again. So Alka, welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. How you doing?
I am doing amazing, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me on. What a great pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you what, just meeting you and talking to you on the phone, your voice, and then meeting you in person was even more powerful. I know the beautiful, amazing human being you are. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Absolutely. My name's Alka Sharma, as Daniel mentioned. I'm from Toronto. I'm a real estate investor, but also my passion is empowerment, helping women to really get out of the shell, to get out of the, discomfort, to go and be in the comfort.
I love it. I love it. You know, and then you do empower.
Yeah.
You do.
Yes. That is the idea. I love to empower women
Let me
to
ask you
really be
this.
the best versions.
Yeah, well, what I love about what you do is you're very successful in real estate, and then you go out there, like you said, you empower women.
Hmm.
First of all, what made you want to get or dabble or become this real estate amazing mogul that you are now?
The reason I got into real estate, I had an investment property on the side as I ran my fitness studio. I ran my fitness studio here in Toronto for the past 6 years, but I also had an investment. I had a condo that I bought in 2014 that I was managing. It was in a great location, downtown Toronto. And it was next to the TIFF Lightbox, when they have the TIFF, the festivals, and get to see celebrities. So it was in a great location. And as COVID happened, as we know, the gyms worldwide were just like, they were shut down. And it was so inconvenient having to tell my clients, well, now we're open, you're welcome, but oh, now we're closed. So it just so happened that my clients lost interest and I lost interest as well. So for me, I'm so thankful COVID came at the right time where I sold my fitness studio and I transitioned quickly into real estate. So it was just a very, very natural, easy transition.
You were ready, right? You were ready for that
Yes, I
change.
was. Yes. Yes, I was ready for more.
You know, what I love about this, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Alka's saying. Maybe you had a roadblock when COVID came. Maybe you still have a hangover from that, right? You still have a spiritual hangover, the lockdown hangover, however you want to describe it, but you're still scared, right? Alka had the courage to take boldness and to take those steps. Write this down, ladies and gentlemen. Are you right now tolerating a life that you don't like? Are you tolerating a career that you don't like? And maybe a business. Alka had it was a business. Maybe you've outgrown that business, but you're just comfortable with it and you're scared to try the new. Let me ask you this, Alka. I love what we're talking about. What gave you the courage and the boldness to just say, let me just do that, that it was so easy for you? Because most people, they would struggle with that.
Absolutely. There comes a time in your life where you have to step outside the box and you have to go for it because life is going to throw you curveballs, as life has really thrown me curveballs in my life. The very dark times that I have gone through, life threw me a curveball. But Daniel, what I can share, what I will share, is that when life throws you curveballs, there is no way. You got to go over and above, you got to go sideways, and you just have to do it, because you are the only one in that situation that really propels you to go forward in your life. And so as COVID happened, what did I do? I pivoted. And we have to pivot. We have to take chances. We have to go over and above as to what is required of us. And when we say, oh, I can't do it, but oh, we put those brakes on, that is the time when life is going to throw you curveballs. And how can you get out of those curveballs is to take the quantum leap, take the courage, as I did, to really navigate and pivot to what was going to lie ahead of me. And as when I took the courage, when I took that bold step, and it was bold, because why it's bold? Because in that moment, I didn't know if it was going to work out. I didn't know if what I was going to get into was I going to be successful. But I would not have known, would I be successful, had I not taken the quantum leap and faced on and head on to getting into real estate. Because that wasn't my first choice. I was a gym owner.
Yes.
And it just so happened that I had to pivot. So Daniel, it basically just came down to, you got to do it.
You got to do it. I love
Gotta
what
do
you're
it.
saying, because you just got to listen to what she's saying. Like, Alka was betting on herself. You bet on you. I mean,
Mhm.
how many of us, we tolerate what we hate? We just, right? We tolerate people too sometimes in our circles because we're scared to grow outside of what we know. And you just did it. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe you're listening to this episode and there's a reason you're on the show today, because you need to understand that right? This is what comes to mind when we're talking about, Alka. People have the misconception that this is a practice life. They think that we have a redo or a replay, and well, I'm going to be 55 and you know what, I'm going to start back over. No, it doesn't work that way. You get one shot at life, ladies and gentlemen. So listen to what Alka's saying, is that you got to pivot with a new mindset, with a new perspective, with an open mind to bet on yourself. Because the biggest lie we tell ourselves, this, Alka, is that we have time. We don't have time. This is one life, one shot. What's your perspective on that?
Absolutely. I mean, we have one life, one choice. And if you make that wrong choice, or if you don't make no choice at all, you are risking your life, you're risking your family's life, because your family depends on you, right? Your family depends on you. So what I believe, I absolutely agree that if we don't take chances, if we don't bet on ourselves every single day, that time, and it's a beautiful saying that I absolutely love, that my father always taught me, was that time once wasted never comes back. And how true is that? Time once wasted. You waste that time by not taking chance on you, shame on you, because you are worthy. You are worthy of so much more. So why are you wasting your time just saying, oh, but I can't do this, oh, but I don't know if I'm going to be successful? My friends, you will never know. But don't waste your time by not doing anything, by procrastinating, by being on the side, because you are worthy of so much more. So Daniel, you every minute that's wasted on you, on your progress to how far you can go, comes down on you.
I love it. I love, right? Too many people stay on the sidelines.
They do, yeah,
It's always
because
easier.
they're afraid. Because they're afraid.
It's always easier to just spectate and then criticize what people are doing. Oh, Alka, well, did you get a lot of that pushback? I'm just curious, right? Well, Alka, why do you want to, like, you're like, right? I mean, I'm not saying right, but did you hear stuff like, Alka, you're dumb? your studio's good, just write it out. And why do you want to do something crazy like that? And what if you don't,
I
what if you
did.
don't retain your money? Like, what was going through Alka during when you were right? These are people that you probably love, that you're like, come on, support me. And they're telling you this junk. And you're like, look at Alka now. What was going through your mind at that time?
Yeah, that's such a great question. What was going through my mind when I knew I wanted to open a gym? Because I wanted, and the reason why, maybe I can just backtrack as to why I opened my gym. The reason why I opened and what made me passionate actually came in my dream. I envisioned opening a studio, having a studio whereby I can empower so many women. Does not matter your shape, your size. You don't have to be ashamed of how you look. I wanted to create a studio that was harmonizing, that brought women together. Does not matter your shape or your size. And as a result, Daniel, when I opened my studio, when it was birthed, women came, and how they came in, they were lethargic, they lacked the energy. I could literally tell by the face, they were pale. But as they began to work out in collaboration with one another, supporting one another in their fitness journey, as an owner, it brought me immense gratification and satisfaction that what I opened a fitness studio to empower these women, it truly was a dream come true.
I love
So as I opened my studio, I had family, it's always the people that were close to us. Family would say, well, why do you want to open a gym? You had no knowledge about the fitness studio. Oh, is it going to be a successful? How do you know if it's going to make it a success? But Daniel, this is what we don't know. Whatever people are saying, family or friends, they are your well wishers. But if you don't believe in you that you are going to make it a success, and I ran a successful fitness studio for the past 6 years, and having no prior knowledge of the health and fitness industry, I made it a point to be a success. I made it a point to know everything that I need to know about the fitness industry, about owning a gym. And it's
I
up
love
to
that.
us.
Boom, baby. That's a boom right
Yeah,
there. Ladies and
because it's
gentlemen,
up
write that
to
down.
us.
Make it a point to be successful. Alka Sharma, she just dropped gold right there. Write that down. You need to make it a point to be successful. Some of you are just
Yes.
going with the wave. The wave takes you to the left, you go to the left. The wave takes you to the right,
Mhm.
you go to the right. The wave takes you all the way around. I love what you said. You have to make it a point to be successful.
That's right.
Let's go deeper there. What do you mean by, because I love that teaching point right there, because you have to make it a point, right? Talk to us. Go deeper on that, Alka, please.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you've got to make it a point to be successful because as entrepreneurs, as an entrepreneur, and when I got into the entrepreneurship journey of owning my first business was the health and fitness studio, I had no choice. I had no knowledge of the industry. So I'm not saying whatever industry you want to get into, whatever endeavor that is, if it's real estate, the gym industry, the financial industry, you're a health and fitness coach. If you have no prior knowledge, what are you going to do? The bet, you need to bet on you because nobody else will. As I said, my family were not supportive. They were trying to put me down by not opening a studio. But I had to take that chance on me because if I didn't take that chance, and life, as we talked about, throws you lemons, what are you going to do? You're going to make lemonade. You're going to make a success, not just for you, but you are going to make success from your businesses. And I made it a point. I didn't have a choice. I made it a point. So you make it a point because you take that bet on you. You take that chance on you because you have to be the one. You are the face of your brand. You are the face of your company. You are the face of your business. If you crumble and you fade away because you did not have the confidence in you, then this is what we need to stop and say, I am worthy. And I knew I was worthy of operating a fitness studio, to being a success. And as a result, for 6 years, I ran a very successful studio because I took the courage. I stepped up and I stepped in to say, I am going to do this in spite of my family, friends saying to me, you can't do this. Because if I listened, and what it comes down to, my friends, is you have to know, what are you good for? What are you good at? And what are your strengths? Your strengths will always guide you to keep on going forward in your business or in your life. It doesn't matter what people say to you on the left or on the right. You need to look forward and look ahead, because that's where the key is to being successful.
Boom, baby. Alka Sharma, look at that. I told you.
Well, it's so
She's,
true. Yeah.
she's bringing the fire. So listen to what she said. I love what you said, is that, first of all, you have to make it a point to be successful, ladies and gentlemen. And I love what Alka said, right? Write this down. Make it a point to be successful. And then second, have faith and confidence. You said the word confidence in your abilities. Ladies and gentlemen, you're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you realize. And then when that moment of doubt says, well, I mean, maybe Daniel, maybe Alka, great for you, but I'm not as confident as y'all. Well, you know what? Sometimes as you're growing, as you're becoming more, you lose your confidence along the way. But the thing is this, listen to what Alka just said. You have to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am worthy. I am worthy. And I would even take it a step further, Alka, is what I tell my clients. Put your name there. Maybe somebody's listening right now. Your name is Juan. Say Juan is worthy. Juan is worthy of more. Juan is worthy of having a successful business. Alka is worthy. Alka is worthy of more. I am worthy. So let that be your step. First of all, make it a point to be successful. Make it a point that you're going to succeed. Make it a point, and then build that confidence. Have faith in your abilities. Have confidence in your abilities. And look, and now that now I'm thinking about it, it's like the fact that you took those steps in the fact of the fitness, and you had never done it before. Right. I can guarantee you that was the foundation. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good teaching point. That was the foundation that catapulted Alka to say, well, you know what? I didn't know about fitness, but hey, I did a good job. I broke the 5-year barrier, which most businesses don't even make it. So that gave you the faith and the confidence and the ability to take that chance and to win in real estate. And you're doing it now because that gave you that, you stacked it.
Absolutely. That was a foundation, because we all have to build a foundation to build on something, to build on your second, third business. You got to have a foundation. And absolutely, the gym industry really taught me where were my strengths, where were my weaknesses, and what did I have to do in order to be a successful entrepreneur, but to also operate a successful business. And what the one lesson that I will share is that if you don't have prior knowledge of the fitness industry or whatever endeavor you plan to go into, if you don't have prior knowledge of that endeavor you wish to get into, you have to learn. I read about what it takes to run a successful studio. I read and I talked to people. So you have to talk to people. You got to get to know. You can't just stay in your shell. You got to go out. You got to expand. You got to go outwards, not stay in. Because if you stay in, if I had stayed in and say, okay, well, you know what, I will just let it fly and just run the studio. No, I grew and I expanded. Expansion is where it's at. You have to expand and just collaborate with people and get to know people. Ask them questions. Daniel, one thing that I can share that I did, that was my strength. I asked questions. If I didn't know as to what the particular, say, marketing, for example, or sales, if I didn't know, I always ask questions, because questions allows you the growth to expand. And so that was a secret sauce for my success to running a studio, was I asked questions. I began to collaborate with people. I get to know people, because that's when you're building your businesses You have to collaborate with people. You got to have people around you who will guide you along the way. And you can't just stay by yourself, knowing that you know everything.
I love it. And you know, just as you're saying that, so many of them are just people that I meet, and some of them become our clients that are open to it, but so many people try to figure it out on their own
Mm,
because, right, since they're not willing to bet on themselves, they don't invest in themselves. Let me say it again, since they're not willing to bet on themselves, they don't invest in themselves and like, oh, I'll figure it out. But listen to what Alka's saying, ladies and gentlemen. She reached out for help. And I can probably guarantee that that help, some of it was probably right. She was able to pick a couple of brains, but there was maybe a coach or two that helped you along the way because we all need help. We all need a mentor. We all need a coach. It collapses their learning curve. And the moment you stop thinking that you can do it by yourself and it's okay to
mhm.
ask for help and you put your ego and your pride aside, everything's going to get easier for you. And I'm not saying just go out there and hire any coach or any mentor, but look at somebody where you want to be. Look at that and follow them. Look at what Alka did, right? She asked, it's as simple as asking questions. And I love this. So, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself this: where am I contracting instead of expanding? She used the word expansion. Are you using the word expansion? Are you having expansion in your life right now? Or are you contracting and you have contraction in your life right now in your business? And I think one of the biggest lies that we listen to right now is right. Apparently, we're supposed to be in this recession and the world's supposed to be falling apart, but we've been having a phenomenal year because we really go out there and try to help people. And I
Mhm.
think so many people listen to the news or listen to that negativity, it gets in their head, and right away they contract instead of being in that expansion mode, like you're saying. Don't worry about the economy, right? If you're doing what you need to do, I guarantee you, would you say that there's going to be business out there for you, Alka?
Absolutely, exactly. Because I'm positive. I have a positive outlook. And when you have a positive outlook, you are in a growth mindset. If you are in a negative mindset, you have a fixed mindset because what you know is right and no one else is right. And Daniel, as you said, people constantly listen to the news when COVID happened. I had my partner and I had the people constantly listen to the news. Oh, let's see what happened. Let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. And I said, can we just please shut the news because we know it's COVID. We know it's still there. It's going to be around. But what is the sense in looking at something that's negative? Because we know it's there. So you have to, what I did, I had to push away. I had to get out of the negativity because when we are stuck in the negativity, we are in a treadmill in that hamster wheel. We were looking for a way out, but we can't see the way out because when you're in a picture, you can't see the frame. And so, what you need to do, what I did, was I had to push away. I had to push people away. I had to push things away because I didn't want to be around the negativity. And that is a fixed mindset because you are focused on that minute thing. I mean, COVID wasn't minute, but it's an analogy, an example that I'm giving. Sometimes we are fixed on that thing that is not serving us to our best, to our abilities, to our highest potential.
Are you an aspiring speaker? Do you have a book that you've been wanting to write for months, maybe even years? Or are you an aspiring podcaster? You want to start that podcast like the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and don't know where to start? Well, at Daniel Gomez Enterprises, we can help you do all three. We can help you become that paid speaker, share your story to the world, write your book, and get your podcast launched and help you produce it. We'd love to help you. Give us a call at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. We can help you become that paid speaker, write that book, and launch your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call now. You pushed away the negativity. You pushed away
Mm,
the negative people. I think people struggle with that. I can say for myself that, right, I'm a people person. I love people, and sometimes you can hang on to the wrong people too long.
mhm.
Walk us through the process when you had to push away, right? Because think about what Alka's saying. If you have, right, Alka's positive to say, she's the positive source, the positive energy, and if you're surrounding yourself with negativity, sooner or later it's gonna collapse that shield she has around her, right? It's gonna collapse. So Alka made a decision to push away that negativity. And some of y'all listening to this episode, you're hanging on to the drama, you're hanging on to the gossip, you're hanging on to the complaining, you're hanging on to toxic environments, and it's not serving you. And you wonder, you take in this negative energy, and then you wonder why your business is failing. So what did Alka do to push, like, right? What are one or two steps that you did to start kind of clearing the airwaves and the environment of negative people? What are two things that you did that you really said, man, I think I just need to do this and do that? What are two things that come to mind that you did in that season, Alka?
Number one is change, because we change in every season. And if you're not changing, you are disintegrating. I didn't want to, and I wanted to change away from how I was thinking, how I was operating, how I was being sucked in to people's energies, how I was being sucked in to the information, the data that was around me. And what I mean by that is when we have people that are saying things, for example, they like they said to me, I will not operate a successful studio. What do I know? What everything's going to go wrong. And when we hear people say that over and over again, you get to believe. And I was sucked into that because I was, my family. And there was a part of me that said, maybe that is true. But I didn't want to believe in that. So that's why I had to change. I had to change in me. I had to change because when I changed in me, I changed the we. Because you cannot be a we person if that me person does not want to change. And the steps that I took, number one, was to change. And when I began to change and how I operated and how I saw myself, number one is always you've got to see yourself first before anything externally has to happen. You need to go within. You have to, because sometimes, Daniel, what happens? We don't know that internally of every one of us, the viewers watching, we don't know what is happening, and we want to change. Every single one of us, we want to change the external.
Yeah.
But that can never happen, because if you are not prepared to change the internal, number one, Daniel, I had to change. I had to make that conscious decision to move people away, whether that's family, friends. I had to move them away, because when I moved them away, I began to focus on my business. I stayed on track. So point number two, you've got to be on track to what do you envision? What do you want out of your life? And when you know what you want out of your life and you are singularly focused on that track you are on, the train doesn't go sideways. The train always travels on one direction. So you got to be that train. You got to be on track. You got to be focused. And as I did, I was focused and I felt so good because I let go of people around me, family, friends, because I wanted to operate my business to great success.
You're just dropping some massive wisdom, Alka. I love it. I love it. So think about what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you need to change? Where in your life are you resisting change? Where in your business are you resisting change? Maybe you're using business strategies that you had from 10 years ago and they're not working anymore. Maybe they're 5 years old and they're not working anymore. Maybe your sales strategies ain't working and no business survives without revenue. So think about that. Where do you need to change internally? And I always say this, Alka, right? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world.
Yes.
What you manifest on the outside comes from the inside. There's no way around it. And so many people, we try to change the outside instead of working on the inside. Let me say it again. What we manifest on the outside, ladies and gentlemen, comes from the inside. And where are you following everything that's glittery and that's gold? Listen to what she said. Stay on track, stay on your train. Don't worry about anybody else. If you stay on your track where you're going, sooner or later, you're going to have success. The problem is you jump track and you look over there because that's glittery. And then you look over there, that's golden. And no, like you gotta stay on your track. And that's a great point because we've had a great year in business. And of course, right, surrounding myself with successful entrepreneurs like yourself. I was on a call before we got on the podcast and I'm listening to what somebody else is doing just in right in their business. They're like, yeah, it's good, right? And it's easy to say, well, you know what, maybe I should be doing that. No, like I'm doing great where I'm at. We're doing good. We got to reinforce some structures, right? Some processes and some other things, but that's not what God called me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us, we don't even stay in what God's called us to do because we want to make a quick buck and it doesn't come easy. Think about what Alka said, ladies and gentlemen, 6 to 7 years in the fitness business. And she got mentor, she got coach, she asked for help. And that success that she had, now she had momentum going into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's successful in real estate. But I think the question you have to ask yourself is, where am I not changing? Where am I fighting to change? And where are you looking to the left and to the right and you're getting off track because you're too worried about what everybody else is doing and you're following everything that glitters and looks gold?
Absolutely. Daniel, I just want to make that beautiful point, what you just mentioned, is that, you know what? And oftentimes it comes down to also, what's not glittery is not gold. What we think is glittery, we think is going to be gold, but it doesn't always work that way. So I used to also compete. I was very competitive. And I think the competitive edge that I had actually stemmed very earlier on. And I was very competitive. Even the last 6 years of my life, I was very competitive. And the same, what we were just talking about, you need to stay on your own track. And I used to compete. Oh, such and such has success. Oh, such and such, I wish I was doing this. I wish I could do that. Then I began, exactly what I was sharing. I had to change within. I had to go deep and say, why am I comparing? I need to not look sideways. And when I began to change, that one phenomenon is not look sideways. Doesn't matter who's beside me. I am me. I am going. I'm gone. And then when I began to, it's a very simple tweak that we need to make. And most people are finding it difficult. Oh, but I need to stay in where I'm staying. No, you're not. You deserve so much more. But just don't compete. Just don't look sideways. Just put blinders on, pretend no one's there. And that's just the one trick is pretend no one's there. You have to be focused. You've got to stay in where you are, where you want to go, where your life is going.
I love it. And you're right, because when I started off, I was a straight up motivational speaker. That's what I did. I spoke for the first year and a half in business. All I did was speak. I didn't even have a book. My book came out, and then the book opened up other opportunities, right? When I made my first book. Now we've been doing book publishing, right? This is our new book that's going to come out, Sales Accelerator. We're about to launch the pre-sale here. But if you would have told me that I'm going to be a book publisher in 2023 and that a big part of our business was going to be book publishing, I would have never believed it, because I was a motivational speaker. But the thing is, when you stay on track to what you're doing, then the trunk of your tree, now your branches get bigger and it becomes a revenue stream. And people don't see that. And it's like, but I stayed on track. No, I'm a motivational speaker, right? People would try to recruit me for this and that. No, I'm going to speak. And then the book publishing came, then the podcast came, and now we have one of the top podcasts in the world. And then from that bloomed something else. But it all came from that one track that I never got off of, because I knew what God put in my heart to do was to be a speaker. And it's still a big part of what moves our engine.
Daniel, I really want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate you for all your accomplishments because, as I got the pleasure to meet you when I came to San Antonio, was just absolutely fantastic. And I'm just so honored to meet you, and everything that you are doing, all your accomplishments, just so beautiful. Like I said, God put you here to do what you are meant to do. And if we change what God has set for all of us, then we are changing essentially. It's almost like, when you have your ego, like edging God out is what ego is. And when I even began to learn that phenomena and understand that when my ego comes into play, I'm edging God out. I'm saying, God, no, don't tell me, don't teach me. I know what I'm doing, but I refuse to do that. And now I refuse to do that. Now I don't have an ego. When I step in and I see myself, oh, the ego, that ego start to come in. I I think of God, because that's edging God out. You're saying, God, you're out. Don't tell me. I know what I'm doing. Right, Daniel? What would you agree to that?
I love it. I think you're spot on, because so many times we get off track because of our ego, or
Yes.
because we don't see the immediate result. And it's like anything, you have to plant a seed and let the seed be watered, and then it's going to grow as the time permits. And I think the problem even deeper with the power of the seed is not all seeds are the same. A radish is going to grow a lot quicker than an acorn is, which is an oak tree. But I love what you're saying, because when you edge God out, right, you don't give God a space and the grace to move on your behalf. And I can tell you, there's times when I'm right. It's just one of those weeks where nothing's kind of happening. Just right. You're following up. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. Like yesterday was a great day. Somebody called me out of the blue. Hey, Daniel, I need your help. I'm like, okay, great. And it's like, I didn't even have to worry to sell one of our big ticket items. It's like, it came to me. But when you give God the space and you get your ego out of the way, now, instead of chasing clients or chasing people, they're coming to you, because right now God puts you in their thought process. And I say that, I say, thank you, God, that your favor is causing me to be in somebody's thoughts today who need our services. Thank you, God, that you're bringing me to memory with somebody who needs our help. And guess what happens? A day or two later, somebody calls me and says, you know what? I was just thinking about you. Really? But it's getting the ego out of the way, like you're saying. I love what we're talking about.
That is so true, Daniel, because, when I began to, just listen to that, understanding that phenomenon, it just truly changed. And because God, and I was impatient. I was so impatient for the longest part of my life. I was impatient when I was not seeing results. Oh, how come, this is not happening? How come I'm not achieving this? That is when you are stepping away and you're not letting God do. So when we become impatient, and I was impatient, I wanted results now. And if I felt it was not happening, I didn't feel happy about it. But what happened in the process to achieving what we are wanting, achieving everything, is you gotta give it time. You gotta give everything time. And time is the one, we started with this conversation. Time, you have to let it come to you. And what I mean by that, let it come to you. You have to, you got to plant seeds along the way. Daniel, I connected with someone, and I must have followed this person for the past, maybe like the last 8 years. And all of a sudden, I didn't know I had done a 360. This was 8 years ago. I was following this person. And this person all of a sudden came into my sphere, because everything is timed, everything is set for us when it's supposed to happen. So no longer am I impatient? No longer am I saying that I'm edging God out, that I have an ego. No, on the contrary, I changed, and change is what I stated just a few minutes ago. You have to change. And when you change, you see the miracles begin to happen. As Daniel said, he got other opportunities, and opportunities do come to you. And I had to realize this, that I had to be patient. I had to wait. I had to wait for things to come. But we are always planting seeds. And this relationship that I was cultivating, that I have planted seeds 8 years ago, she came into my sphere. And so now her and I are going to be partnering up in doing something amazing. But you got to stay tuned for that. But it always comes down to let God do his magic. Let God do what is best for all of us.
I
You can't
love
go
that.
wrong.
You know what comes to mind as you say that? And ladies and gentlemen, write this down. One touch of God's favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor.
Yes.
One
Yes.
touch,
Mm-hmm.
one touch of God's favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor.
Amen.
And
Absolutely.
and I because I've seen that in my life where you try to exactly what you're saying, you try to force that square peg into that circle, Alka, and it doesn't work. And then you
It
get even
doesn't
more
work.
frustrated. But the
Yeah.
moment you release it, and right, because what we don't realize we're doing is we're creating our own resistance. We're creating our own
Right.
resistance. And when there's resistance, there's rejection. Let me say that again. When you create your own resistance, then you're creating your own rejection. Where there's
Mm-hmm.
resistance, there's rejection. So
Right.
where in your life do you got to let go? Do what you got. Alka's not saying don't do the right. Alka's not saying don't do the work. Alka's saying as you plant the seeds, now you got to give your seeds time to grow, and then it's gonna come. But if you plant a seed today and you want the huge harvest today, it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way. No. But you got to give it time. You got to plant the seeds. You got to let it germinate. You got to water it. Because if you don't water that seed, then it's never going to grow. And it's the same analogy. If you don't water that seed that you are planting today for your tomorrows, it's God is watering that plant for you because he knows you've got to give it time to germinate, to blossom. And it's just like a butterfly, the analogy of a butterfly. In my book, From Cocoon to CEO, Living the Life of Your Dreams, I have butterflies. And Daniel, when I shared with Daniel when I was in Texas, I think, Daniel, you were talking about butterflies on stage, and it was just so cool. But you have to let God do his miracles, but you got to do the work in return.
Yes, you can't. And this is what as we're talking, like you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that as the seed's growing, then you're being prepared alongside it parallel. Because sometimes I remember that I thought where we're at now, Alka. I look back, right? I'm glad that God didn't give me what I asked for. But I thought 5 years ago I was ready for today, right? Where we're at now, I was like, I'm ready. And I wasn't ready. And you don't realize that because you got to get thicker skin. People are gonna talk about you, gossip you,
Mhm.
betray you. That's part of right. I mean, unfortunately, you gotta mature in that aspect not to let you. And then that day that we were here at Sticker Shock at our speaking academy, like somebody hacked into my Facebook, they stole my credit card, and anybody
Yes,
else would have just canceled the event or said, but it's like no, like
you carried on.
you have to
Yes.
develop that mental fortitude, and so many
Mhm.
people don't have that mental fortitude. So it's just understand this, ladies and gentlemen. What Alka's talking about is there's a seed time, there's a harvest time. And at the same time that's happening, there's a preparation time for you. You're becoming that butterfly, but maybe you're not that full butterfly yet. You're still coming out of the cocoon. And if
Mm.
we all know this, and me and Alka had this conversation, if you try to help that butterfly out of the cocoon, it's going to die because in the struggle of coming out of that cocoon, in the struggle, that's where the butterfly gets its string to fly.
Exactly. Don't take it out so, too soon, because there's always a process. There's a time, there's a germination time, and there's a time when you are going to thrive, you're going to blossom, you're going to succeed. But when you take that butterfly, that cocoon, that caterpillar out too soon, when he or the caterpillar hasn't even it's in that more metamorphosis stage, it's not even fully grown. And it's like, when you take a child out of the incubator, that child is only like 1 pound, and they put in the ICU in the incubator so it becomes healthy. They feed it, they nourish the baby. And as entrepreneurs, we are the same. We need to not pull ourselves out as we are growing, and not to take those seeds out. As the analogy, what we are sharing is that, the seeds that we are planting today, you don't want to strangle it, you don't want to choke it, you don't want to do anything to it, because this is your time. This is a time that you are harvesting to your success, to blossoming to your life, in your business, and in your personal life. And they're both not they are both the same. So what's in your personal life, how you develop, how you think, feel, and act in your behaviors in your personal life is a reflection of what and how you operate in your business. So if we are strangling the business because we want those results too soon, it doesn't happen that way. You have to, everything has a period, a harvesting, a blossoming period. We all go through seasons where, my season was not the best before, but the season is best now. For Daniel, it's best now. Maybe it wasn't then. And we all have seasons in our lives that we have to just go with, because that's God's plans.
I could stay here and talk to you forever. Wow.
I know, right? Me too.
This is powerful. Alka, we're going to have to bring you back for an encore. I'll tell you, this is just
my pleasure.
But what I got from you was, where are you strangling your own business?
Yeah. Yes.
Where are
yes.
you strangling your own business? Ladies and gentlemen, look at your notes, what we're talking about. Write that down. Where am I strangling my own business? Where do I need to change as we recap this amazing episode? Where do you need to change? Where are you strangling your own business? Where are you not allowing yourself to really get away from that negativity? And you have to get cleared out the negative. That way you can get those new opportunities coming your way. Alka, you've been an amazing guest. If somebody wants to connect with you, how do we get a hold of you?
You can connect with me on Instagram at Alka Sharma CEO. And I'm always sharing nuggets on empowerment, on real estate, mindset tips. So I would love to help you and empower you in any way I can. So Instagram, you can reach me there.
One last question before we I don't want to end the episode, but we got to. What is a scripture or a quote that you rely on in times of adversity? When you have those character building days, what is a scripture or a quote that you say to yourself or that you read to get you through the day?
Lead with courage, because courage, you are not defined by who you are. You are defined by your courage. You are defined by what you stand for. So I always lead with courage.
Boom, baby. There she is. Alka Sharma. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest.
Thank you, Daniel.
I tell you what, I just loved having you here with us. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here this week. We're going to have another amazing guest for you here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. And remember this, you see behind me right here, the makings of a Millionaire Mind Bootcamp. If you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in business, if you need that breakthrough, we've had 4 boot camps already. They've been changing people's lives, really impacting them. I want to see you in San Antonio, November 17th and 18th, here at the Makings of a Millionaire Mind Bootcamp. We have an amazing lineup. I'll tell you what, we're bringing in the Miracle on the Hudson Man, Dave Sanders, and he's going to be amazing. He's going to be our keynote speaker. You don't want to miss it. Go to Eventbrite right now. Get your ticket at the Makings of a Millionaire Mind Bootcamp on Eventbrite. I want to see you here in San Antonio, November 17th and 18th. And if you need help writing your book, we want to help you with that also. DG Publishing. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires here. Till next week with another amazing guest. Once again, thank you to Alka Sharma. Woo!
Thank you, Daniel.
Next week here with another amazing guest. And not as beautiful as Alka Sharma, but we'll have another guest.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, everybody. God bless y'all. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and thank you for listening to our show today. Please share this episode with a friend, leave us a review, and subscribe to our show. And for listening to our show today, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to our Millionaire Mind community. Text the word millionaire, that's millionaire, to 210-942-5059. Yes, join our community today and receive millionaire affirmations, inspirational quotes on a weekly basis. That's 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire today and join our community. And once again, thank you for listening to our show.